So hi everybody and welcome back to the Unreal Engine 5 tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 141 and in this video I want to talk about interfaces again. There is much to talk, but here in this video especially I want to talk about a special node, and this node is, let me show you which node we are going to talk today, which is this node here, which does implement interface. About this node we are talking today, and this node is just asking an object, a test object, if you are implementing an interface, and this interface you can specify here, and if it does, it will here go out a return value, and this return value will say yes or no, and depends on yes or no we can program our logic. And this node is very powerful because with this node we can skip asking the target to create let's say a variable, which will be very powerful for performance reasons, because you don't have to create a variable like here, and you don't have to know the variables, what the variable type is. So what I mean with not knowing what the variable type is and why not to create a variable, then this one works only in special cases, so not in all cases, but I will show you in which cases in a moment. But before that, let me explain you what I mean, what not to create a variable. So when we call an interface, in my last video I showed you that this interface call here needs a target, right? And for this target we have still find this actor which we want to call on the, and check if this has an implemented interface, right? So for example, I added here to this slide my interface, so I can see, I go here to class settings, I check interfaces, yes, I have added here this interface, and here on the left side I can see perhaps I have implemented this interface or not. That's up to you, the functionality, but we have added at least it here. And then now this node is just checking if we have implemented this interface. I'm not sure if this implementing or adding this interface. Perhaps it's just checking if we added this interface, because like I said, you have not to implement it. You can implement it, but you don't have to implement it. So anyway, that's not so important right now. Right now important is we will skip now this target here, and we can't skip it in all time, but with this node and with a collision box we can skip this type here, asking what type you are, what class you are, or what you are. We don't care, and the reason for that is because this collision box itself will collide with any type, and then we have here this other actor node, and then we can just connect this other actor here and then ask if this other actor, whatever it is, we don't know if you are a BP light type, if you are, for example, a static mesh type, or if you are anything here in the scene. We don't know what you are, but because we know the other actor, and then we just ask you other actor here, are you implementing an interface? Or for example, in special case, in asking, for example, BPI, if you are implementing this interface, BPI, I can call you, right? I can call you whatever you are. For example, if you say now, yes, I'm implementing this other actor here, this other actor says yes, then it will go out here and say yes. And then after it says yes, then, let's do it with a reroute node fast. Annoying. All right. So after it says here yes, after it says here yes, then we can just call, for example, again the interface. Let's call interface. Let's do the same here. This activate was the name of my interface which I want called. activate, and oops, of course I have to write it. Activate, here is it. And here is BP interface, activate message. We need this message, and here we still need a target here, right? But this time I don't care because I have this other actor here. And you see the difference about this one here is I create here a variable, then I need to actor, and then I have to assign this in the scene which actor you want. In this scenario with the other one, if I have a collision box, I can skip the whole act because the collision box is testing any type which is colliding with that. So anything which is colliding with that will be assigned as other actor. And this other actor we are using then with this note here and say, does this other actor, whatever it is this other actor implementing this interface, what I want, for example. In this case, I'm asking here for my created interface, which is BP interface. And if it says yes, because this one here is a check, if this says yes, then I'm just calling what I want from this actor, because then I know this is a special actor which I want, because that's why I'm asking it here. So, actor, do you implement this interface, BPE interface? If it says yes, here at this point I know, okay, I know exactly which actor you are. I want, for example, that you turn now your light off, because I exactly know this BP interface which I ask for has only the function to turn off the light, for example. And with that said, I would skip this target creation of a variable, and we will talk about this one, why it is so important to skip something like that here, because this will boost our performance. When you can use something like that, that can boost your performance highly. This one will, yeah, it's not so performance. It's not so good as, it's similar to the other ones here, let's say so, because here, yeah, we will talk about this kind of stuff a little bit later, because in this video I want to concentrate more on this one. Okay, so why I say you can't use it in all places, for example, in this place here, I can't use it like I set up here. And why so? And the reason for that is, here I need, for example, an overlap. For example, I need this trigger box, right? But this way here of a trigger box can be achieved with different ways. For example, instead of a trigger box, you can have, of course, let's say you shot a profile. Let me start here, change here, go to my shot. For example, now I can shot a sphere. And if this sphere is overlapping with anything I want, and this one implements that what I want, then I don't have to create also an object. Something like that. Yes, that's a little bit strange what I am talking, but let's try to follow again. So what I'm going to achieve here with this setup is only that I skip this creation of this variable. And this creation of this variable, the reason why I try to skip is only one, it is cost performance. We will talk it in another video, not in this one. And the second thing is, here I don't care what class it is, because this other actor can be anything. And I ask only if you are implementing this interface. And because I ask this here in a special case, I know exactly which actor this will be. What I mean with that is, if this is implementing, for example, this interface, what I have here, BPI interface, I know exactly when this one says true, you have this activate functionality in you. And if you have this activate functionality in you, I know this other actor, which can be anything. I know you are not anything, you are exactly this one actor which I want, for example, in this case BP light. The problem with this setup, what I show you here, it's not working because my BP light will never walk into this one. So that's the problem why this one is not working. But I want to show you the setup, right? The setup works with other things. For example, I can set it up with my character. My character can walk in, and I set up my character, for example, an interface. And when my character is walking into this one, I can program now that that something happens without casting to my character. So with other words, creating here a connection to my character. And let's do this anyway, but not with this example here. This one stays here, and for this purpose, let me just make here another example. What I'm going to do is now I take this box here, and I have already did it. I did it already, I mean. Here, I have here, this is my trigger box here, and I duplicated this one. So what I did is just duplicated this one here. Here's duplicate, and I called it BP trigger at 1. Yes, the same thing here, activate all with a 1. All right, then I open this one here, and what I did here in here, I have so many things in, I just deleted all. So I have nothing in, only I keep this one here, which is my trigger box. You can see this is this trigger box, and my cast to the infinity Fourier in this case. But with this interface, I want to skip this one here, and I show you how. First of all, let's define our goal. What I said, no, first of all, let's put it in our scene. So here is the other trigger box. This is the second one. So my goal is now, when I start the game, I go into this trigger box, and after I went into this trigger box, I want that my character is doing something and using an interface. That's our goal. Let's set this up. How we set this one up again? So first of all, you have to select which should have the interface. In my case, the character this time, right? My character should have an implemented interface. So let's go to my character first. So my character is this one here. This is my player character. Actually, I have more. I set up here many things, which is bad, but that was all demonstration code. But you will see why this all kind of stuff is bad, but for demonstration, who cares? So in my character, what I'm going to do is setting up an interface. And how we set up an interface? We already did this. We go to the class settings, and here on the right side, you can see we can implement an interface, and we add it. And I add exactly the same thing like before. It was, what was it called? BPI interface. All right, here I added this, I compile, and I have now here on the left side, after I compiled it, this interface section, and you can see I can implement these interfaces if I want. This time I'm implementing again, activate, it jumps down, and I have now set up a functionality for this one. And in this case, I set up anything which is very simple, so I don't have to do much. Let's say, let's get mesh color or something. Let's set mesh color is all time good. I get here the mesh and set up just the color here. Color. Well, is this possible? Should we do this way? We can make it this way. We can't make it this way. Not so important. Perhaps I just destroy the mesh. Then I have only the capsule component here. I don't know. We can set up material, but I don't want actually. Takes too much time. Here I could make this one here. That takes too much time. Let's destroy our character. It's very fast. Destroy actor. So that's very fast, simple, and we know it. So what I implemented is just I go into this box and I get destroyed. That's my implementation. So important is, let's write here just a comment for interface implementation. let's make this one fast, this one. And now compile save. And now I go back to my trigger box, because my trigger box here should call now. Like all time, we need a call. Here is the implementation in my character, but of course I must call this character. And in my other example here with this box here, let me show you this one again. Here we called it by creating a variable and make it editable on the scene and then selecting it. And here in this version here of my character, I want to use now this new node, which means I'm deleting this one here first. Here's my trigger box, and my trigger box, my collision box, will check any other actor which is overlapping here on this one, and I can use this one. So I say, okay, here, other actor does implement interface. Like before I said, I check not now which actor you are specially, because let me go back here fast. Here in this case, I check exactly if this other actor is a BP infinity Fourier. If it says true, it will cast to it. If this one says false, it will fail, right? That's so the behavior about this collision box. And this is the one way which we are not want to use, and the reason for that is casting costed also performance. We will talk about this in another video. And instead we say, does you implement an interface? And if this one is saying yes, this other actor, whatever actor it is, if they're saying yes, I'm implementing your interface, BPI interface in this case, if this here says yes, and I can check this with a branch, because this branch is taking this return value, and if you say yes, I will go with the true branch. If you say false, I can do something with false, I can skip it. And in my case, that's all what I need, first of all. And let's what we do after this one is just call the interface call like the other ones here, right? Here we have checked here the infinity Fourier, and we have called, first we have created the target, and then we called on the target this interface. We called on the target the interface. So the same thing we are doing here. We are calling now the interface. Let's activate. It was the activate in my case. Now where are you? Here, activate message. But here you see it is still asking this target here, right? But I don't know now the target. Where is the target here? You can see we have here no target, and actually we have it here, the other actor. And the difference about this one and this one is this other actor can be anything at this point. This one cannot be anything at this point. This one is especially this what we selected in our scene, or what or how you can get it in different ways. By the way, you can also use here get all actors node and get this one here. So here you have absolutely pointed out which one you want. In this case, I don't care. I just test this one here, and then I know if this test says yes, that I have the right target. So I don't create here any special variable for it. Oops, let's go here on top again. So I use this one here. Let's make it some reroute nodes so that we can see it a little bit better. It goes fast, it's not too well. So you see the big difference here is actually we are just not creating this one, and that will become very important when we talk about performance later, not in this video. But keep this in mind. And with that said, this setup is already finished, and now we can test it. Let's test it. So what should happen is when I walk into this one, I should be destroyed, and I'm destroyed. And you can see this one is not destroyed because I have to call this one as well, but it is working. So And interesting here is, again, let me repeat this note here. This is very why this is so powerful. Here, I don't care about what the actor is. The work I do here with this node here, because then I know exactly what this other actor is, even it is not showing here the right actor, right? Because I can check if this one is implementing this interface. Exactly, then I know if this one says yes, then I know it. You are one of those actors which I need, so I can call this here activate. And because I know that you are one of these actors I need, I don't need to create here this variable also, and then I can just take it from here and plug it in. So in this little code there are much powerful setups actually, which we will talk about in the next video, why this performance is so very, very nice if you can do something like that. But before that, one more thing. This one here works, of course, with any other actor as well, because here, for example, I showed you my character is walking in, right? And then I get destroyed. But this collision box here can react now to anything which has implemented this interface. For example, here comes a shot, right? Let's simulate a shot. What was it? I go here to my other character. And now if my shot is implementing this interface here, this projectile, I could set it up here as well. Very easy. And I don't know that it is the projectile because I make the same thing here. I don't care if you are a projectile or if you're a character or anything. I will just ask, are you implementing this interface? If you say yes, then I know I can call activate. Let's try this one as well, perhaps. Let's try to find this projectile. Let's see if I can destroy this one as well. Where was it? I don't know. Problem is I don't know where this was. First. Oh, I know where it was, but I don't know what it was called. It was anywhere here in... Oh my god. Of course, I try first person here. Yeah, that's one. So let's here. This one is the projectile. I hope it is this one. If not, I don't know. But let's see. We go here to the class settings. I say, okay, this projectile might become here. And I want when this projectile is coming here, I want that you are destroyed as well. Let's make it with destroyed. This is works here. Very nice. What we have to do, we have just to add this interface. I go here to the class settings here on top. Class settings. I go here to the details panel, down to interface. I go to add, and you have, of course, add the right interface with the right to implement the right functionality. In my case, BPI, we created this interface. I can select. I need this one here because I have activate all this one. Of course, don't forget to compile. After you compile this, you see we have here the functionalities which are set up in our interface. It was there. Then I click this one. I have my activate again. Now let's call this one also destroy so I don't waste time here. So after this one gets activated, you get this destroyed. And here let's make a fast commil interface. Interface call. Let's call it something like no, implementation, not call. Oops. Implementation. And let's make this one. So we have this one. It's perfect. Let's compile save. Compile save, and now look what happens. I go back to this setup, and now this other actor reacts to anything which says does implement interface, which means if my projectile comes here and it is implementing this interface, then this one becomes also true, which means this one called activate, which means this one will be called. So you can see the setup here is really powerful, and I don't need to create again anything. I just check here and it will react to anything which is implementing the interface. I don't create any variables. So you see, this little code is really little but really powerful, and we see this in action now. So what we expect is, first I start my game, I switch to the character, and I hope this was the right projectile, and when I shot, it should be destroyed. You can see here the other one, this one here, is not destroyed, but now I switch to this one. Oh, it's also not destroyed. That's not good. That was messed up. Why you don't get destroyed? Baby intersect. Oh, it has block or not overlap? That can't be. Okay. Other actor. The problem is this one here is blocked probably. Should I set this one fast to the viewport? We have to set the collision settings here. That was of course a fail explanation. Sphere, let's go here to collision. And let's say here overlap, I need overlap. And it is ignoring a pane. Let's make it for a moment to overlap and ignore the pawn. Just for this demonstration, let's see if this is working now. I go here again, change, take this one. Now I'm here, and you see now it works. Okay, that problem was here. I have set it to block, so you have later to set up your collisions later. In this case was, yeah, that was not, that's not very important now, but you can see it working. And again, what was the important part here? Let me show you this one more time now. Here, when I go here and I shot here, oops, when I can aim, of course. Now it's overlapping. You can see it's through, it's going through because I have set it to overlap. And this box collision reacts only to overlap, and it gets destroyed when it begins to overlap. So important, we go back to this one here. This little setup here can react to anything what you want, and this one is so powerful. But of course you need now find cases where you have, for example, in this case it's a collision box, but of course you can set it up so for a flying sphere too. For example, my shot is flying through anything, and if it's an enemy or something what you want destroyed, then you can also just check if it's implementing this interface when it's flying through anything. And then if it's implementing interface, then you can say, okay, whatever I collide with, then call destroy, for example, if it's implementing the right interface. So this was, I hope, a little bit helpful, but we will talk about this one more. You can see this code is really little, but if you understand this kind of concept, you can really use this later in many powerful ways. And here one more tip. This one is for collision box, but of course you can make here ray tracing. For example, you can make a ray trace, then it's colliding. So you can find anything which is colliding, because we are using here the case that this collider has all time this other actor, right? This other actor which is already a connection, but not like our other one here. We have really specify later what we want. For example, here I created just this variable, but still, even if I have not specified it here directly, I have specified it later here by selecting this level and then which I want. For example, in this case, this setup here with this DoesImplement interface, it works for any actor. The problem here is, of course, it works only on certain scenarios. Like I said, you need something which has something like an overlap, right? Not necessarily a collision here, because like I said, if you shoot a shot, for example, a sphere which is flying and overlapping with actors here in your scene, anything with it overlapping, you can use this way here of setting it up very short very effective, and it costs almost nothing. Performance is here very good. We will talk about performance a little bit more. Okay, I talked about this little node much, but if you understand this concept here, this little DoesImplement interface and not creating a variable, it's very good, because later when we talk about this this cost of creating this little variable, you will see why many will try to use something like this one here and skipping something like this one here. Even this one looks very nice, or skipping all the other things too if it's possible. They are trying to skip all here if it's possible and use something like that. So I think I stop here. Don't worry if you don't understand this one so much. It is powerful. In the next video I will anyway go a little bit deeper in this one when I show you the performance, what this little code can do for performance. Then you will see something very interesting. But one last word as a starter, don't worry about that too much, even if it costs much performance the other ways here. For example, the other ways here are actually very example. Even this one is expensive, even if it's called an interface. As long as you create here something like a variable, it will be expensive. And yeah, so that's why don't worry about as a starter too much what you select. There is the easy rule which says when it works your game, use it, and later just before you finish make a profiling check, and then you will see if it works. And one more thing important is of course that you know that it would be nice that you know that some of them perform better, and that's why you should watch the next video as well when we talk a little bit about performance and why this kind of stuff is performing very, very nice compared to other ones. I think that's the only thing which you know later in the video performance wise why you should use it. And of course that something like this exists here, this version here, that you can just don't care about the actor when you have something like an overlap, and that's skipping all time creating specific variables for every actor which you are overlapping here. You can see I can overlap now with this little setup 1000 actors and check just if they implement interface, and then just call this activate after using this line. So I can overlap. Really, that's the power of this little setup here. I can really 1000 millions of actors and I can check it. If you do, then I can activate it. If you do, then I can activate it. And I don't need to create the next line, make here a variable for the next actor, make here for the next actor. You can see the point here is, let me show you this one too. If I use this version here, I still need to create anyhow connections to 1000 actors, for example. Let's say it so. Here are 1000 variables, right? In this case, if you can use here, that's it, what you need for 1000 actors, no more, no less. We are not creating here any variable. Just so that you get a little understanding how powerful this little looking setup is. But in the next video, a little bit more about this one. With that said, I stop here. If you have any questions or any complaints, write it in the comments, and see you in the next video. Bye and good luck.